Okay, the next one here is, and kind of tying into that, this is going to be cash, e-transfer. I think the whole banking industry is going to change, and it's hard to really pinpoint one thing here. And as much as I hope cash never goes away, I think that it will. And I think that while I say that, depending on how things shake out in the next 10 years and how the CBD sees, I think that they're going to fail. I think they're going to fail miserably. And I do think there's going to be different things that come up that act very similar to cash, because think of what cash is. Everybody loves to say, including me, I hope cash never goes away, because think of what cash is. People love cash because they can accept it and they can spend it without anybody knowing about it. That's what cash is. You don't give a shit about the actual paper. It's worthless. And it's got stupid faces on it, other than a couple, like George Washington is not a stupid face. But think about your money. Like you don't actually value the money itself. You value the idea of cash. So I do think that there will be things that come up. And I think that Bitcoin is actually a version of that. If you do it properly, I think that Bitcoin is the digital cash version of that. We call it digital gold. We call it digital real estate, but it's also why it was designed is to be peer-to-peer electronic cash. And that kind of just came to me as I was saying it. But that's why I don't get too concerned about cash going away, because I do think that if you just replace the idea of that, the fact that you can receive value from somebody without anybody knowing about it, and you can spend that value without anybody knowing about it. That's what cash is. That's why people love cash. But it is such a pain in the ass to go down to the bank and have to take out cash if you need to. And it's really no value to you carrying around all this cash. It just introduces, the ability for somebody to smack you on the head and take your cash. So I think that the idea of cash will be around, but I don't think the cash as we know it today will be around in 10 years. I hope that makes sense. So an update from the chat here. Rick says he can see it from Friday, but it doesn't update until Monday. That's nuts. That is nuts. And in terms of the banks, this was obviously something that I was unsure of. And I'm not going to say that banks won't exist in 10 years. I do think that banks will be around in 10 years. And why I say that is because people will always want somebody to do things for them. People always want convenience. Not everybody on earth is going to take the time to learn Bitcoin, to learn how to store their own Bitcoin, and to use it the way it was designed to be used. People will have Bitcoin, but I think that they're actually going to trust institutions like the banks to hold their Bitcoin on their behalf. So if you think about how this could play out, the bank holds one of the keys to your multi-signature. And so if something were to happen to another one of your keys, you can go to the bank and you can get that key. They can't actually do anything with your Bitcoin. They can just hold the key for you. And I think that there might not be Royal Bank. It might not be BMO. It might not be JP Morgan who's doing this, but there will be a version of this, I believe, of similar businesses who are offering this. And so what banks do today, the services that they provide, I don't think will be keeping them in business. I don't think that that's what their business model will be in the future. I think that they will be a way for people to hold their digital Bitcoin and whatever else we got going on at the time, whether that's a Tether or something like that, something that swaps back and forth between cash and Bitcoin. But they'll be the ones that hold that for people. I think there's going to be a very small percentage of people who actually take the initiative and take the responsibility of holding their own keys in Bitcoin. And so I think the banks will be around in 10 years for that reason, to hold on behalf of other people. Now in 20, 30 years, when there's more, I have no idea. If you try to look that far ahead, you're crazy, I think. But while there's still humans on Earth that have lived through our existing financial system today and have that much trust in these institutions, they will be the ones. Until they're gone, there will always be a need for banking like institutions. So, will the services look the same? I don't think so, but I think that they will be around simply for that reason, because people hate responsibility and they love convenience. They love somebody else holding their stuff for them. It'll be insured. If something were to happen to that, the banks will be there to bail them out. They'll pay for that in some sort of a fee, management fee or holding fee, but I think that will be available. And